Hello everyone, DeckTrolls here, and so I'm finally coming and posting out my Salamangreat deck. And I waited until I was able to get a hold of 3 of the new structure decks, so this is going to be basically only cards from the structure deck. No, that's not true. There's 2 other cards. Yeah. Anyway, this is going to be basically almost only cards from the structure deck that just came out, Soulburner. And it's going to have Ash Blossom, but that's not going to be a problem because Ash Blossom came out in the structure deck. Probably going to be one of the only decks where I have you buy a card that is normally super expensive. So let's get into this. You got 3 Salamangreat Gazelle. If a Salamangreat monster is sent to the graveyard, to your graveyard, except Salamangreat Gazelle, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send 1 Salamangreat card from your deck to the graveyard, except Salamangreat Gazelle. You can only use each effect of Salamangreat Gazelle once per turn. You got 3 Salamangreat Spinny. If you control a Salamangreat card, you can discard this card, then target 1 face-up monster on the field. It gains 500 attack until the end of this turn. If you control a Salamangreat monster other than Salamangreat Spinny, and this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of Salamangreat Spinny once per turn. You got 3 Salamangreat Foxy. When this card is normal summoned, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you do, add 1 excavated Salamangreat card from to your hand. Also shuffle the rest into the deck. If this card is in your graveyard and a face-up spell or trap card is activated, you can discard 1 Salamangreat card, special summon this card, then you can destroy 1 face-up spell or trap card on the field. You can only use the 1 Salamangreat Foxy effect per turn, and only once that turn. Now that's it for the 3 ofs. We got 2 Salamangreat Jaguar. Honestly, one of my favorites because I love piercing damage. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage. If you control a Salamangreat Link monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 Salamangreat monster in your graveyard except Salamangreat Jaguar. Shuffle that target into the deck, and if you do, special summon this card from your to your zone a Salamangreat Link monster points to. You can only use this effect of Salamangreat Jaguar once per turn. Now you got 1 Salamangreat Falco. If this card is sent to your graveyard, you can target 1 Salamangreat spell or trap card in your graveyard, set that target on the field. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 Salamangreat monster you control, except Salamangreat Falco, return it to the hand, and if you do, special summon this card. You can only use 1 effect of Salamangreat Falco per turn, and only once that turn. Got 1 Salamangreat Beat Bison. If you have 3 or more Salamangreat monsters in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. You can target Fire Link monsters in your graveyard up to the number of face-up cards your opponent controls, return them to the extra deck, then negate the effects of the face-up monsters your opponent controls until the end of the turn, up to the number of cards you returned, and you can only use each effect of Salamangreat Beat Bison once per turn. You got 1 Salamangreat Mole. During your main phase, if you link summon this turn, you can special summon this target from your hand to link zone your monster points to. If you control no monsters, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 5 Salamangreat cards in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, then draw 2. You can only use each effect of Salamangreat Mole once per turn. You got 1 Salamangreat Fowl. If a Salamangreat monster or monsters except Salamangreat Fowl is normal or special summoned except during the battle damage, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use this effect of Salamangreat Fowl once per turn. You can send 1 Salamangreat card from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard, and then target 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls. That set card cannot be activated this turn. You got 1 Salamangreat Paro, or Para, whatever. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card from your hand in attack position. If this card is special summoned, you can target 1 Salamangreat monster in your graveyard. This card's attack becomes that target's. You contribute this card, gain 2,000 life points. You can only use this effect of Salamangreat Paro, once per turn. And lastly, Salamangreat Foxer. If you have 3 or more Salamangreat monsters in your graveyard, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, then target 1 Salamangreat Link monster in your graveyard, and 1 card in your opponent's spell and trap zone. Return that targeted monster from your graveyard to the extra deck, and if you do, destroy the targeted card on the field. If a card or cards in your graveyard, in your opponent's spell and trap zone is destroyed and sent to the graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, special summon this card in defense position. You can only use the one effect of Salamangreat Foxer effect per turn, and only once that turn. That was intense. Alright, that's it for the Salamangreats. Now we got 3 Lady Debug. This is not in the structure deck. If this card is normal summoned or special summoned, you can add 1 level 3 or lower Cyberse monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Lady Debug once per turn. And then 2 Backup Secretary, also not in the structure deck. If you control a Cyberse monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Backup Secretary once per turn this way. And lastly, for the monsters, we got 3 Ash Blossoms. When a card or effect is activated that includes any of these effects, quick effect, you can discard this card to negate that. Add a card from your deck to your hand, special summon from the deck, or send a card from the deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring once per turn. So if you're getting the structure deck, there's no reason to not have this card, but don't buy it separately because that's absurd. Alright, now for the spells, we got 3 Salamangreat Circle. Activate one of these effects. Add a Salamangreat monster from your deck to your hand, or target a Salamangreat Link monster you control that was Link summoned using a material with its same name as a material. That Link monster is unaffected by monster effects this turn, except its own. You can only activate 1 Salamangreat Circle per turn. Got 2 Salamangreat Sanctuary. If you Link summon a Salamangreat Link monster, you can use 1 Salamangreat Link monster you control with its same name as a entire material. During the damage calculation, if your monster battles, you can pay 1,000 life points, then target 1 Link monster you control, make its attack 0, and if you do, gain life points equal to its original attack. You can only use each effect of Salamangreat Sanctuary once per turn. Got 1 Will of the Salamangreat. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 Salamangreat monster from your hand or graveyard. You can send this face-up card from the field to the graveyard, then target 1 Salamangreat Link monster you control that was Link summoned using a monster with its same name as a material. Special summon Salamangreat monsters from your hand and or graveyard in defense position up to the number of monsters link rating that monster's link rating. You can only use one will of the Salamangreat effect per turn, and only once that turn. And one Salamangreat Claw. Equip only to a Salamangreat monster. The equipped monster cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and if it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. If the equipped monster is a Salamangreat link monster you control that was link summoned using a monster with its same name as a material, during each battle phase, it can make attacks on monsters up to the link rating that you can only control one Salamangreat Claw. Alright, now we got one Circle of the Fire Kings. It's a quick play spell. Target one fire monster you control and one fire monster in your graveyard. Destroy that target you control, and if you do, special summon the other monster in your graveyard. You can only activate one Circle of Fire Kings per turn. And one Foolish Burial. Send one monster from your deck to the graveyard. Now for our traps, we got 3 Salamangreat Roar. When a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated while you control a Salamangreat link monster, negate the activation. And if you do, destroy that card. My bad. While this card is in your graveyard, if a Salamangreat link monster is link summoned to your field using a monster with the same name as a material, you can set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use one Salamangreat Roar effect per turn, and only once that turn. Got 2 Salamangreat Rage. Activate one of these effects. Send one Salamangreat monster from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard. Then target one card on the field and destroy it. Target one Salamangreat link monster you control that was link summoned using a monster with its same name as a material. Destroy cards your opponent controls up to that monster's link rating. You can only activate one Salamangreat Rage per turn. Lastly, one Gozen Match. Each player can only control one attribute of monster. Send all other face-up monsters they control to the graveyard. Alright, now for the extra deck, we got 3 Salamangreat Heat Leo. So the structure deck comes with a new art, which honestly I love so much better than this one. But I use this one as my basically tribute link monster. So I'll summon this one first, and then I'll use it to go into this one. It's easier to keep track of what you're doing that way. Alright. Requires 2 or more fire effect monsters, so obviously a link 2 and a fire, or 3 fires. If this card is link summoned, you can target one card in your opponent's spell and trap zone, shuffle that card into the deck once per turn during your main phase. If this card was link summoned using a Salamangreat Heat Leo as a material, you can target one face-up monster on the field and one monster in your graveyard. The attack of the first target becomes equal to the other target until the end of this turn. You got 3 Salamangreat Battle Links. It's link 1. It requires 1 level 4 or lower Cyberse monster, so it doesn't even have to be a Salamangreat monster, which is cool. So if this card is link summoned, you can add 1 Salamangreat Sanctuary from your deck to your hand. If a Salamangreat card you control would be destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only use each effect of Salamangreat Battle Links once per turn. Got 3 Salamangreat I'm sorry, I never even tried reading his name before. Mirage Stalio? Mirage Stalio. Alright. Requires 2 level 3 monsters. So it's cool because it also doesn't require specifically either fire or Salamangreat. So it's just 2 level 3 monsters. You can detach 1 material from this card, special summon 1 Salamangreat monster from your deck in defense position. Also, you cannot activate monster effects for the rest of this turn except fire monsters. If this Xyz summon card is sent to the graveyard as material for a link summon of a Salamangreat monster, you can target 1 monster from the field, return it to the hand, and you can only use each effect of Salamangreat Mirage Stalio once per turn. Don't be fooled by the fact that I didn't know its name. I did playtest the deck, I just never bothered to read the name. Alright, you got 2 Flame Administrator, requires 2 Cyberse monsters. All link monsters you control gain 800 attack. You can only control 1 Flame Administrator. And 2 Dual Little Chimera. Requires 2 fire monsters. All fire monsters on the field gain 500 attack and defense. Also, all water monsters on the field lose 400 attack and defense. If this card is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can target 1 fire monster in your graveyard, add the target to your hand. You can only use this effect of Dual Little once per turn. Alright guys, so that is my Salamangreat deck profile. So yeah, for the most part it's going to be cards from the structure deck, so the only exception is Lady Debug and Backup Secretary. So yeah, tell me what you think. What do you like? What do you dislike? What would you do to improve it? There is a link to Salamangreat monster, but I didn't buy it because it's like $8 each right now. Also, it's not from the structure deck, so it's not necessary, but it would be good to have. Anyway, yeah, please comment. I like when you guys comment. Remember, I have 100+ budget-friendly decks, so there's going to be a lot of fun content coming your way, so please make sure to like and subscribe. Most importantly, have fun.